Picture this. You're trapped inside a cramped, suffocating shell, perched on the edge of a rocky cliff where one wrong move means a 200-foot drop to your demise. For 45 long days, you're developing in complete darkness, and trust me, this is probably the easiest part of your entire existence. Because what awaits you outside that shell is a world so brutal, so unforgiving, that you'll probably wish you'd stayed inside forever. After what feels like an eternity of cramped development, you finally crack through your prison. But instead of a warm welcome, you emerge into a world of complete indifference. Your parents are locked in a heated argument about whose turn it is to risk their necks hunting for food. Meanwhile, you're sitting there as nothing more than a helpless ball of gray fluff with oversized eyes and a mouth that won't stop demanding attention. The negotiation finally ends, and dear old Dad reluctantly takes the hunting ship. When he returns, he offers you what can only be described as the most disgusting meal imaginable. Semi-digested meat that he's pre-chewed for your convenience. Yeah, you'll definitely want to get used to that delightful dining experience, because it's going to be your reality for months. Just when you think things might settle into some kind of routine, another egg hatches nearby. Congratulations, you've got a sibling. And here's where things get absolutely twisted. Your parents don't see this as double the joy. They see it as prime entertainment, because every single meal from this point forward becomes a gladiatorial combat zone. Your brother or sister isn't family. They're direct competition for survival, and your parents will literally sit back and watch as you two tear into each other over every scrap of food they bring back to the nest. This isn't just sibling rivalry. This is nature's most brutal reality show. The stronger chick, usually the older one, will systematically dominate and often eliminate the weaker sibling through starvation or direct aggression. Your parents don't intervene. They don't play favorites. They just watch with the cold calculation of creatures who understand that only the strongest deserve to survive. Every meal becomes a life or death battle, and the loser doesn't just go hungry. They often don't make it at all. It's a phenomenon scientists call canism, and it's as horrifying as it sounds. The winner gets to live. The loser becomes a cautionary tale about natural selection. But let's say you're the survivor, the victor in this twisted family dynamic. Now you get to experience the joy of rapid development under constant pressure. Over the next few months, your fluffy down transforms into sleek, dark feathers that give you the intimidating appearance of a true black eagle. By day 90, you're nearly full-sized, but there's still one terrifying milestone ahead: learning to fly. And your parents have chosen the most anxiety-inducing method possible for your first lesson. They lead you to the very edge of your cliffside nest, where the ground disappears into a dizzying drop that would turn you into eagle pancake if you mess this up. Your parents circle nearby, probably taking bets on whether their offspring will soar majestically or become a cautionary tale about premature confidence. There's no gradual introduction, no safety net, no practice runs on lower heights. It's pure sink or swim, except if you sink, you're literally going to become a crater in the ground below. You spread your wings, close your eyes, and take that leap of faith, hoping that millions of years of evolution have programmed your body correctly. The first few attempts are absolutely terrifying. You plummet like a rock, desperately flapping wings that feel completely foreign and unresponsive. The ground rushes up at you with alarming speed, and you crash land in whatever vegetation is unfortunate enough to break your fall. Your parents watch these spectacular failures with what can only be described as mild amusement. After several bone-jarring attempts and more than a few emergency landings in thorn bushes, something finally clicks. Your wings catch the air, your body finds its balance, and suddenly you're soaring. The sensation is incredible, but the learning curve nearly killed you multiple times in the process. Once you've mastered basic flight, it's time for advanced education, hunting school. And your professors are two of the most efficient predators on the planet. You watch from nearby perches as your parents demonstrate techniques that seem almost supernatural. They can spot a rabbit from over a kilometer away. Their vision's so acute it makes human eyesight seem practically blind by comparison. When they lock onto a target, their entire body language changes. Every muscle tenses with anticipation, and then they transform into living missiles, folding their wings tight and diving at speeds that would make a fighter pilot jealous. Now it's your turn to try, and spoiler alert, you're going to be terrible at it initially. You spot what looks like an easy target, maybe a ground squirrel or a young rabbit. You position yourself, take aim, and dive with all the confidence of a predator who's watched the experts work. But translating observation into execution is brutally difficult. You miscalculate the angle, misjudge the speed, or simply miss entirely, crashing into the ground while your intended meal scampers away, probably laughing at your amateur attempt. The learning process involves countless failures, near misses, and embarrassing crashes before you finally nail your first successful hunt. That first taste of prey you've caught with your own talons is unlike anything you've ever experienced. It's not just food, it's validation, proof that you might actually survive in this unforgiving world. But just as you're starting to feel confident about your hunting abilities, your parents begin showing signs of what can only be described as empty nest syndrome in reverse. They're not sad about you leaving. They're actively encouraging your departure. Around 14 to 15 months, the hints become impossible to ignore. It's time to get out and find your own territory. This is where the real nightmare begins, because finding a place to call home in the eagle world is like trying to buy real estate in the most competitive market imaginable, except instead of bidding wars, you get actual wars. Every decent territory with good hunting grounds and suitable nesting sites is already claimed by older, more experienced eagles who have zero interest in sharing their hard-won domains with some upstart newcomer. Your attempts to settle anywhere are met with aggressive displays, aerial attacks, and territorial battles that you're simply not equipped to win yet. You spend months as essentially a homeless wanderer, constantly searching for unclaimed territory, while being chased away from every promising location by eagles who've already paid their dues and earned their spots. It's a humbling experience that teaches you just how brutal the competition for survival really is. Every encounter with an established territory holder is a reminder that in the eagle world, respect is earned through strength, experience, and the willingness to fight for what you claim as yours. After years of wandering, failed territorial claims, and gradually building your strength and experience, something finally shifts in your biology around your 4th or 5th year. Spring arrives, and suddenly you're seeing other black eagles through completely different eyes. Mating season has awakened instincts you didn't even know existed, and the urge to pair up and start a family becomes overwhelming. But eagle romance isn't exactly like human dating. There are no pickup lines, no dinner dates, no getting to know each other over coffee. Instead, courtship involves complex aerial displays that are part dance, part athletic competition, and part demonstration of hunting prowess. You have to prove you're worthy through spectacular flying demonstrations, precise diving exhibitions, and perhaps most importantly, gift giving. And we're not talking about flowers or chocolates. You need to present your potential mate with fresh kills, preferably something impressive like a rabbit or a particularly plump bird. The pressure is immense because a poorly chosen gift or a clumsy aerial display can end your romantic prospects immediately. After several awkward encounters and more than a few rejected gifts, you finally find a mate who appreciates your particular style of courtship violence. Together, you face the challenge of building your first nest. And this is where you discover that eagles have a very flexible definition of building. More often than not, you'll find an existing nest from a previous season and simply appropriate it, adding a few decorative twigs to make it feel like home. It's less construction and more hostile takeover with interior design elements. Your first breeding season is a masterclass in stress management and sleep deprivation. The eggs require constant incubation for about 45 days, and you and your mate take turns sitting on them while the other hunts for food. It's like the world's longest, most boring work shift, punctuated by moments of pure terror every time an egg shifts slightly or you hear suspicious sounds nearby. Predators, weather, and simple accidents can destroy months of investment in seconds. So the vigilance required is absolutely exhausting. When your first chick finally hatches, you experience a mixture of pride, terror, and immediate overwhelming responsibility. This tiny, helpless creature is completely dependent on your ability to hunt, defend territory, and make correct parenting decisions under pressure. And if you thought your own childhood was brutal, wait until you watch your offspring go through the same horrifying experiences you survived. When the second egg hatches a few days later, you get to witness firsthand the same sibling warfare that you either survived or perpetrated years ago. Watching your own children engage in life or death competition for every meal is emotionally devastating, but interfering would go against millions of years of evolutionary programming. You have to sit back and let nature take its course, knowing that one of your babies might not survive the process. It's perhaps the cruelest aspect of eagle parenthood, being forced to watch your offspring fight while maintaining the cold neutrality that the species requires for survival. The demands of feeding growing chicks transform your entire existence into an endless cycle of hunting, feeding, and territory defense. Every flight becomes a frantic search for prey large enough to satisfy constantly growing appetites. Your once leisurely soaring sessions are now desperate food runs, because failure to return with adequate meals means watching your chicks weaken and potentially perish. The pressure is relentless, and there's no such thing as taking a day off when lives depend on your hunting success. Other eagles constantly test your territorial boundaries, trying to muscle in on your hard-won hunting grounds while you're distracted with parenting duties. Every day brings new challenges that test your strength, speed, and determination. You find yourself in constant aerial battles, defending not just territory but the future of your genetic line. The exhaustion is overwhelming, but the alternative is watching everything you've worked for disappear. Months pass in this relentless cycle of hunt, feed, defend, repeat. Your chicks grow larger and more demanding, their appetites seeming to expand faster than your ability to satisfy them. Just when you think you've gotten the hang of this impossible balancing act, something goes wrong. Maybe you failed to properly shield the nest during a sudden storm, or a predator got too close while you were away hunting. Parenting failures in the eagle world have immediate and often fatal consequences. Eventually, if you've managed to keep your offspring alive through the gauntlet of early development, comes the bittersweet moment when they're ready to leave. After investing everything in their survival and growth, you have to watch them venture out into the same brutal world that nearly destroyed you. The empty nest that follows is both a relief and a profound loss, marking the end of one of the most challenging phases of your existence. As the years accumulate and age begins to slow your reflexes, the eagle world doesn't offer retirement plans or senior discounts. Younger, stronger eagles start eyeing your territory with the same hungry ambition you once possessed. Your once intimidating presence may no longer be enough to discourage challengers, and you find yourself having to rely more on cunning and experience than raw physical power. The piercing stare that used to send intruders fleeing might not carry the same weight when your body shows signs of wear and your flight patterns have lost their former precision. This is the harsh reality of eagle existence. A life that begins with imprisonment in an egg, continues through sibling warfare, involves years of territorial battles, includes the overwhelming stress of parenthood, and ends with the gradual loss of the very attributes that made survival possible in the first place. From the moment you crack through that shell until your final flight, every single day is a test of your ability to adapt, survive, and thrive in a world that offers no guarantees and shows no mercy to the weak or unprepared. Yet somehow, generation after generation of eagles endures this brutal cycle, each one navigating the same impossible challenges that have defined their species for millions of years. It's a testament to the incredible resilience and adaptability that evolution has programmed into these magnificent predators, even as it highlights just how unforgiving nature can be to those who dare to soar among the clouds. That's a wrap on today's wild journey. But here at the Zoo-phoria show, we're just getting started exploring nature's most incredible stories. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering the shocking, hilarious, and downright unbelievable truths about the animals sharing our planet. Your next favorite animal fact is just one click away.